Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today are Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about Metroid, Golf Story, and Brian's 10 minutes worth of gameplay in Stardew Valley alongside a handful of news. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch our show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. And as always, we would appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatchers such as iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. So anyways, before we jump into all that stuff, we haven't really played anything else other than like Destiny, right?
I've played a bunch
and
of
these
stuff.
these little games and things.
I mean,
Let's get the Destiny thing out of the way. Alex, let's talk about the raid.
Okay.
We got to raid.
Yeah, so I got back from Japan, and I can talk about Tokyo Game Show a little bit as well.
Yeah.
There's a few different things I can talk about.
I think you're going to be doing most of the talking.
That's fine. That's not desirable, but okay. So got back from Japan, put on my big boy pants, got ready to raid, and we raided last Thursday night. It was a crew of 8 people total, I think, because we had a couple rotations for several different reasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was almost the Midwest Game Nerds all the way, but
Almost.
I gave up.
We
I threw in the towel.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't really know how much to say. I don't know that we need to like do a play-by-play of the raid because I don't know what people want to know and what they don't want to know.
Of it.
Yeah, there is a full video of it up on Twitch. It's pretty good. It sucks because Corey didn't have his voice set to share, so you can't hear some of the people that are talking.
His great renditions of How Bizarre
with lyrics from the Destiny raid, which were pretty funny to at least John and Corey and I.
That's pretty much why I quit.
Standing on this pillar while you're shooting bottom dog. How bizarre. How bizarre.
I can't escape it.
But no, it's I made a little clip of a joke that John made because we were looking for somebody to replace Brian since Brian was quitting.
And I knew there were people lined up.
Somebody was like, well, there wasn't anybody lined up, but somebody quit or somebody was logged on, and John or somebody was like, who is this? And then Brian's like, oh, that's the guy from work. He hasn't done the raid yet, though. And then John was like, he hasn't done the raid yet. And then Brian's like, no, he hasn't. And John goes, how bizarre. And I saw it coming about 10 milliseconds before it hit, and it just destroyed me when you did it because it was just so funny. But anyway, back to video games.
Yeah, back to games.
The Destiny raid is cool. I talked with Zach for like another 45 minutes after we got treasure chests opened and stuff in the underbelly.
He was probably really sad that you were like a little underwhelmed.
No, I think he understands where I came from. Like it's number one, it was hard being the person who had not run it before. The idea that I could be the one to let you guys down, even though we all let everybody
it was mostly
down.
Brian.
Everybody let everybody
By leaving,
down.
maybe. I was doing just fine.
I'm just playing.
Everybody let everybody down in some way or another at some point.
I didn't jump into a pit randomly.
Did I do that?
No.
I'm pretty
You're
sure.
singing, pal.
Oh, he did do that. Duets.
And this is the thing is like people I think are here. Like I saw how Giant Bomb had done their raid thing. I didn't watch any of it until afterwards. I still need to watch more of it. But they have about 24 hours worth of raid that they have recorded because they tried 3 different times. One time they were way too low of a power level to do it. Like I was expecting a lot. And so the fact that my first time through, obviously with 5 other people on the team that knew what they were doing, I was able to finish it the night of in 3 hours and 20 minutes was pretty nice. That's good. And I was...
We could do it faster than that,
We
too.
totally could.
Yeah.
That gauntlet part, the other 2 times we did it, went way smoother.
Yeah, I don't necessarily...
I don't blame the difficulty on the gauntlet on you being a first-time raider of that. It was just like... The gauntlet is the sort of thing where I wish it was always the first thing we did because if I could just get it out of the way,
clear that,
Yeah.
then you're
yeah,
good.
because it is for me, for some reason, it is the most frustrating part of the whole raid.
Yeah, so we spent about an hour and 25 minutes of that 3 hours and 20 minutes in one segment of the raid out of like, what, four segments or something like that?
4 segments, not counting the Castellum.
So there was a level of frustration with that. Like, it just was too... The idea that we were sitting down and it didn't feel like it was going as smoothly and whatever, it kind of put me in a bad mood, not to mention that I was just like stressed, being like, oh my God, I don't really know what's going on with any of this, but you guys did, and we're just kind of installing me into the most not I don't want to say easy, but like the Zach called them the most boring jobs, but they're just kind of the ones that are easier for me to do as the first time player. And I don't know. All in all,
I'm admittedly awful at the game in general. I think I'm terrible at it, and like I usually pick up those boring roles because I still find them difficult.
Yeah,
because
no.
I feel like I'm that bad at the game that they're still like I like the challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even like during the gauntlet, like the phases of ads that come in between the running, I just like. I, for some reason, have so much trouble killing the ads, and maybe I'm just that bad of a shot. I don't really know, but
yeah. Well, and I was also really worried about the. I remember hearing a lot of people talking about, getting to Callus and not having ammo and that kind of thing, which was cool because it made me very healthily juggle my weapons. I was like, all right, I've been using my scout a lot. I'm going to switch to my energy weapon. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get ahead of that, so it wasn't a problem for me. But all in all, go ahead.
The ammo part is usually during that encounter, like
During the
halfway
Callus
through
one?
it.
Okay.
If you take more than 2 phases to kill him, you're pretty much out of ammo.
Okay.
And that's a problem.
Well, that worked out because we died the first time before the first damage phase even started, and then the second time we beat him in two phases.
Yeah.
So.
I like that encounter.
It was fun. Even though I had the boring job, I wasn't in the Shadow Realm, and I wasn't really doing anything with the Scions either. I wasn't helping out John and Zach with that, but I think it's a very interesting thing. The idea that they have this culmination at the end of the game of like, this is the most challenge and the most mysterious part of this game. I think that's very cool. What I do wish was different about the raid in Destiny 2 is that I wish that the mechanics that are used in the raid were built upon from the game, from the rest of the game. None of those segments has anything like that in any of the rest of the game. And I wish that instead of having people beating their head against the raid for 8, 16, 24 hours, that if you are smart enough to put the pieces together, you would have been able to have the solutions to those puzzles from playing the game.
Okay, I can see that.
I think that
That's
would
valid.
be a much more cohesive and meaningful experience rather than just like, oh, I don't get this at all, so I cannot progress. Like if they had, like if the strikes like set up different mechanics in each of them to
They
then
did
add
start
together.
to incorporate that type of thing a lot in
In like
D1,
the
but,
Taken
like,
King and the Rise of
yeah.
Iron, they started doing like they pulled out some of the Vault of Glass mechanics and put them into other missions and things like that.
Yeah.
I wish they did that here, and I don't think they did.
They haven't
anywhere.
done it too much. I'm actually pretty underwhelmed at like how few of the strikes actually have mechanics like that this time around. But,
it like mostly with the strikes, they're very straightforward, and I think it would be
they're good. I mean,
they're
just,
good, but they're very much like go here, kill these people, go here, kill these people. There's
Yeah.
some of them that are like grab the orb and take it to this thing to take down a shield, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like they have little bits and pieces there, but I think they could build a more cohesive thing, like a more cohesive story and experience that builds to the raid rather than just
I mean,
here's a bunch of brand new mechanics that you are going to need to either one, wait for other people to figure out, or two, get lucky until you realize what's going on.
One of the problems is they can't actually have the same type of mechanics in the rest of the game because you're not rolling with a fire team of 6. Like a lot of these weird puzzly things that they do just wouldn't work with a smaller group of people.
That's true. That makes sense. Which, that makes it makes my request a much more difficult task. Obviously, they'd have to
6-man
figure
fire
out.
teams all around all the time.
That'd be cool.
Obviously.
No, that'd be that would make sense.
I want to roll patrol, with 6 people.
I just want 6v6 PvP back. That's what
I want
really,
Rumble back. That's
It'd
what
be
I
sweet
want.
if there were strikes that you could like team up with another fire team to do.
Yeah.
Even
It's
that
called
would
a
be cool
raid.
to me. Well, yeah, but
Well, if you don't have 3 some odd hours to dedicate to a raid, and you would rather just run a
Yeah.
strike in 20 minutes.
I mean, I would totally be cool with them having like smaller raids just more often.
yeah,
Like, they have the 4 encounters or whatever. Why not just have like
two
two
of 4.
encounters?
Yeah,
Like you do one part, then maybe there's like an in between part like that. Like when you're grabbing all those staffs
Yeah.
to open the doors.
yeah,
And then there's boss. Done.
yeah. And so, and at the end of the day, I think it's an interesting experience. I'm just interested to see, like Crota's End. It's not. Everybody's said that it's not a particularly good raid, and that's the only other one that I've actually finished. So I'm kind of interested to go back and maybe run Wrath of the Machine or even King's Fall or some of those, just to kind of like understand more completely kind of how the raids have evolved over time.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what they do. If this is going to be like the rumored whatever of Osiris coming out in December, if that still stands or
I
is
think
going
so.
to happen, is that going to have a raid with it? We don't really know yet.
I
would hope so.
I mean,
Yeah.
by the time Destiny 1 was done, sort of done, I mean, it's still online, they had 4 raids, so
Yeah,
they got to start taking them or releasing them soon, I guess.
yeah.
I don't really know if they're going to shoot for a 3-year life cycle for this game.
I
or
would
not,
hope
or
that
if
they
they're
try
only
to
gonna
go
do 2.
back to the more cohesive, because that's the word of the day apparently, vision that they had, where the idea of
10-year.
Destiny 2 is now just going to become the launcher for Destiny for the rest of the franchise's lifetime.
They can drag it out, Destiny 2.
Yes. Destiny 2 plus 1. And that way, all of this stuff is still accessible, and your character does actually move on, and maybe the power goes up to like 1,000 or something. Like I don't know
That would be cool.
how that would go, but
Yeah, that's called an MMO.
Well,
that's what it was supposed to be.
It's
You
the
know, like
intent. Yeah.
that was kind of what they wanted to do with it. So
I mean, I would be totally fine with that.
yeah.
Well,
But
And here's the thing: if they somehow built like a tool that allows them to be like, hey, we don't have a new raid for you this time, but guess what? Here's Wrath of the Machine in the D2.
that's what I want, is for them to take all the D1 stuff and bring it into...
That
'cause
would be the smart way to do it.
They reworked the whole engine of D2.
Yes.
Like, they made a new engine that made it easier for them to update
to create
faster.
content, yeah.
So I want to go back to Venus. I want to go back to the moon. I want to do all the things I did in
I
D1
could kind of
all over again. And I can
without
see them...
patrolling those destinations.
Well, what
ever
would be
again.
sweet, get this, what would be sweet is if they roped it into the whole Vex time warp kind of shit. So, like, you jump through a time warp to go back in time to D1 and be able to run through all that stuff.
And
So
all of a sudden the graphics are worse.
So they make it, they make it into, they basically, like, it becomes part of the lore. Like, that would be awesome.
Well, and even if they did the
So-
thing kind of where with the Rise of Iron, with the Siva outbreak and stuff like that, where you could run through levels in a different orientation or
Right.
that kind of thing, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you're back to doing patrols in the Cosmodrome. Like, I don't necessarily want to see that. But if they
Please,
were like,
no.
hey, we don't have a new raid for you
Well,
yet.
no, I don't mean
but
that
check this
necessarily,
out.
but take the mechanics that they've created for D2, implement all of that into the D1, like, environments, and let us play through the D1 content as if it were part of,
Yeah.
I want to play all of it, like, cohesively. But I was gonna say, now that you've explained yourself about the raid, I feel like you don't seem as call about it.
It's given me
How long were you waiting to do that?
I've been waiting like 10 minutes.
I don't approve.
Shut up.
But,
You're wearing a shirt that says Team Dad Jokes. Go fuck
That's
yourself.
fine. All right. Touche. Yeah. No, I think I needed some time to digest the experience, and I think I don't know if I'm going to run it that many more times. Obviously, I'll help people out when they want to run it. If you guys need like a 5th or 6th, like
well, actually, prestige mode starts.
We'll get
don't give a fuck.
We'll get
Do
into
not
that.
care.
That comes
Straight
that'll
up
come
don't
with
care.
Our, with our
yeah,
news,
we can talk
our
about
news
that.
items.
Yeah,
I
but
thought I was pretty much done running it, but then I read about that. I'm like, shit. I
Yeah,
guess I
well,
gotta do it again.
yeah.
No, I need the armor set.
The armor's sweet. I've got the boots and the chest
point.
piece. It's all pretty rad looking.
Yup.
The weapons are super rad. Like I actually have an auto rifle that I kind of like now. So I don't. It's yeah. It was good. It was interesting. I feel like I'm ready to kind of not play any more Destiny 2 unless it's to like help Rick get to the point where he can do the end game stuff.
Oh, you should do Trials of the 9 as well.
Yeah, I would like to try some trials as well. That's the other thing is that I did play some PvP. I kind of figured out how to have fun with it. I don't know if they did the whole I don't know if you guys heard about this, but in the original Gears of War when they did the PvP, they made it so that your first time playing the game, your weapon would do more damage.
No way.
Yes, because they knew that if you won more in your first couple experiences, you would come back and play more.
That makes sense.
So I wonder if there's something similar in
I
Destiny
doubt
2.
it.
Because my
No.
first couple rounds, I was like, oh my God, I'm a god right now.
Well, I think it's because it tries to match you to people that are somewhat close to your skill level, I think. Or does it
I
not
don't
do
I
that
don't know how
anymore?
any of the matchmaking
Actually, I don't know
works.
if it does that anymore.
I
It
don't
used
know.
to.
But here's the thing. Like I played like 3 or 4 rounds of the like, hey, do these so that you can unlock the actual
Right.
Crucible kind
Do
of shit.
2 quick play, do 2
Too
competitive.
yeah.
Now you can do trials and
And I rocked all 4 of those, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
I'm the PvP god.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to play anymore, so I'm done. No, I'm just
I don't
kidding,
know
but-
how the matchmaking works necessarily. I just know that I'm playing better in PvP now than I ever did in D1, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily attribute that to who I'm playing with per se, but it's definitely a team oriented.
But I will say,
Activity now?
like working as a team of 4 is much easier to understand than trying to be on the same page as 5 other people.
And
Right.
and splitting up 2 and 2 is
It's
a
helpful.
lot more clean than doing
Yeah,
2 and 1.
instead of
Yeah,
2 and 1,
Right.
yeah.
or 1 and 1 and 1.
Odd man out.
as is
Aw.
most
Yeah.
often. But no, it was fun. Even like I wasn't even chatting with people. It was just randos, and we were just playing together. I like the modes that they have going on more than I did in the beta. But no, it was cool. It's cool, and I would like to try some trials because I haven't yet in this game.
Got one more day this week.
Yeah, we'll see if
Or
that
maybe
happens.
later.
Like, if you guys want to leave this immediately and then go play some trials, I can do that
I would
for a
probably
little
do
while.
Well, I'm
but-
gonna have to edit and pack up my food that I'm cooking for the week.
Okay.
Somebody else might be on.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Enough-
Destiny 2 is cool.
enough Destiny.
Yeah.
What else?
I played some other stuff. I bought P-Cross S on the Switch.
I don't even know
no
what the hell
idea
that
what
is.
that is.
Do you guys remember like the Picross games that you could? It's almost like a Sudoku, but it was on Super Nintendo and Nintendo like that.
No.
So basically, what it is you have a grid, and you are given numbers at the top of the column and the left side of the row. That's kind of like in this row, there's a group of 5 and then a group of 1, and that means you either turn it blue or you leave it white. So you turn it blue, and like there's 5 that are going to be touching each other, and then 1 that's on its own, so it's not connected to those 5 in any other way. You have to kind of cross-reference the information in order to fill out a puzzle
Okay.
that makes like a little pictorial. It's usually like a 10 by 10 grid, so it's not like anything fancy.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool game. It's fun. It's only $8. It's a very like standard Nintendo experience. Like there's been Picross games on like everything since the Game Boy. I think Mario Picross was like one of the first ones that ever happened, and this is the same developer doing it now that was doing it back
Okay.
then. So it's fun. It's $8. It's if you're looking for something to play on your Switch, especially on the go, it is bite sized. You can pick it up, do a puzzle, put it down. It's awesome. It was great. And I got to play the Super Mario Odyssey demo that is.
Oh yeah, I checked that out for like 10 minutes when I was there the other day.
I played all the way till it kicked me off because I played too long. Which I think was like 5 or 10 minutes.
I was kind of in a hurry, so unfortunately, but it was cool to see it.
It's
actually
awesome.
Play it.
It's awesome.
What makes it so awesome?
It's just, it feels like Mario, even though there's weirdly different worlds and things going on. I was playing with the motion controls, and you can like kind of throw Cappy with the motion controls to attack enemies and things like
That's
that.
cool.
And the whole conceit of the game is you're going to these different like locations to go and find moons, like these little shiny moon things instead of stars like they have been in the past, or like in Super Mario 64. But there's tons of them throughout every open world kind of area. And that's the thing, is that it feels like kind of open world Mario in a way.
Okay.
Like it's on a smaller scale, but it's still open world. And it's fun to just kind of run around and find these different puzzles. There was another thing that was really sweet, was that there was a moment where I could go into this thing that would then turn me into a 2D Mario on the face of like of a building or something. So you'd be playing like an original NES Mario style layout on the side of this wall, and then when you go and jump out of it, you become normal Mario again, and you're back in the 3D world.
Nice.
So it looks like there's going to be a ton of awesome mechanics. I'm super hyped to check it out at the end of this month.
Started in some weird town.
Yeah. Was it the one with like ice crystals growing out of the ground? Yeah, same one.
Talked to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a new hat.
That's cool. I didn't buy anything. But and it looks like each location's going to have a currency. So I don't know what coins do, because you also get coins. Yeah. You can turn
I break down my old hats for Ascendant Shark?
You can turn in the coins from that world into somebody that will allow you to increase your rep with the Goombas.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But anyway, that looked awesome. And then I did, from my trip to Japan. I don't want to talk this much, guys. I bought 2 souvenirs from Japan. One of them is I Am Setsuna on Switch, which only came out physically in Japan.
That's cool.
It also has English in it.
Nice. Cool.
So you can switch it to that. And then I also bought the Seiken Densetsu collection because they're not releasing it here as far as we know.
Badass.
It's got 1, 2, and 3 on it. I haven't really played much of either of these yet, but I'm excited to check them out.
Is there an English version of that, or is it all?
Sadly, no. It's all in Japanese. But we are getting the remake of Seiken Densetsu 2, Secret Mana, in February of 2018.
Yes, sir.
And maybe that will lead to more remakes or the release of this thing, and then I'll be like, why did I buy this?
Why
That's
not?
entirely possible, yeah. Just to speak about TGS really quick, I took a bunch of video with the GoPro while I was there. I'm hoping to edit it together into something cool. I didn't get to play any games because I got there at 9:30 and all of the appointments to play games were taken. So you could basically sit in a line and be like, hey, if somebody cancels, then we'll pull somebody from this line. You don't get to choose what you play, and you don't get to figure out when it happens. You just have to stand here for the rest of the show.
Can you at least watch people play?
You could watch people play, but the thing is that I got so flustered, and like there's so many fucking people there that I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Taller than most of them, right?
No.
Okay.
It was mostly foreigners. Like there were a lot of other people there that
and all the radioactive stuff has made them grow quickly over time.
But
did you see Godzilla?
I did not see Godzilla.
That's probably a good thing.
There were a lot of really cool things. They had a thing there for Detroit Become Human, the new David Cage game.
Yeah.
They had a display case for the androids. They hired actors to go into the display case and just stand there and like look at people and just kind of subtly move their faces. And
that's kind of creepy.
They were actually androids.
It was so cool. Like it looked insane. So I have some of that on video, so I'll post that. They had a nice VR section
You shouldn't have told us they were actually people. We might have believed they were androids.
Maybe they actually are androids.
They might be. I wouldn't know.
What do we know? Except we all saw Blade Runner this weekend.
I did not yet.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I haven't. Dude. I wanted to rewatch the original
honestly,
first.
If you had seen it, I was going to be like, fuck game nerds this week. Let's
talk about Blade
Runner.
I'll keep that in mind. They announced the Zone of the Enders VR.
Yeah,
they're remastering it yet again in 4K, but then they're also adding VR to it if you have PlayStation VR. I saw some people playing that. It looked pretty good. It looked
I don't
like
know
a
how
remastered version.
good that game will actually translate to VR because of the quick movements and like how it played normally. But
yeah.
the idea of it just sounds awesome.
Well, it was cool because they had like awesome Jehuti like couch type things at the Konami booth that you could sit in while you were playing the game.
That's cool.
But it looked like they have it set up so that you're not experiencing the whip fast motion of the original game. Like you see a reference model of Jehuti like moving in the corner, so you understand how he's moving because you're seeing it in first person rather than third. So that was cool. They had a Metal Gear Survive was there. They had groups of 4 people playing it. This is the weird zombie alternate universe Metal Gear Solid game that's coming out.
It's just so weird.
Just you got to do something with that engine.
So it made me look. I went back and looked, and there's still only like a play test from TGS 2016. So I don't really have a good reference of what's changed since then. The game's kind of winning me over because if you think about it, what it is it's 4-player Metal Gear Solid 5.
Ooh.
That's
With zombies.
With zombies. There's also like some Fortnite in it. You're like building up things in order to make sure the zombies can't get in. Like there's like infiltration and defense missions so that if you're infiltrating a place, then you like set up a beacon and then you have to defend it from all the zombies that get called to it.
That's okay. I won't tell Kojima about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'll have to. I'm cautiously.
I mean, why can't they just
on that
like?
one.
Are they just using the Metal Gear name to sell it? I mean, just come up with a new franchise for fuck's sake. Like,
I don't know. It's really weird. I want to hear more about the production of it because I'm wondering if it's really Konami or if it's Konami being like, "Hey, you guys over there, come make this game."
Yeah. Do stuff with this engine that we paid
that
millions
we paid
of dollars
a shitload
for.
of money for. Please let us recoup the investment. So you would think that maybe the Metal Gear name isn't worth as much as if they were like, hey, let's go acquire the license to like something bigger. Let's include this in. I don't know. But they're kind of doing the minimal amount of work to try and pull in more money from all the work they did previously.
Just take that engine and make your own version of PUBG with it.
That's what it should be. That would have been the smart thing to do.
We might as well just get into the news because of that.
Well,
we'll get there.
Have you guys played anything else?
No.
Just Destiny, of
I've
course.
only played Destiny.
I'm going to set up a word of the day thing like Pee Wee Herman for this so I can hit it.
Okay, I did play...
I played some Stardew Valley.
I played like 10 minutes of it maybe. I made a character. I watched the cinematics. I wandered around my new shitty farm for a minute.
I played with my clearance BB-8.
That's good.
And then I picked up Divinity 2 Original Sin a few weeks ago, and I played that for a couple hours. It seems like it's going to be really awesome. It's really fucking hard at first.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretty much like... You can pick between a bunch of classes, or you can make your own, and there's just a lot to it. And it's pretty in-depth, and you can use the environment. I've heard some people figured out ways to like beat bosses in ways that the developers never even intended to be possible.
So is it kind of scratching that Witcher?
It's
itch?
not. Nah.
Like what?
If I get the itch for The Witcher,
you play The Witcher.
I have both of the expansions now, and they're like, I think each 20 to 30 hours long.
Probably, that's fair.
And
I just don't. I have no frame of reference for Divinity. Like I have no idea what the game looks like. It's every time somebody said Divinity, I think I thought of like 7 other games that
there was a bunch of old Divinity games.
Okay.
I apparently own some of them. It must have been from a Humble Bundle or something.
Yeah.
Like I own Divinity 2, but it's not Divinity 2 Original Sin.
Okay.
The Original Sin storyline is like a completely different one, I guess.
Yeah.
To be honest, I couldn't really tell you what it's about at this point.
Okay. I'll have to look into it.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
You can play either a regular version of like, you can play like elves, humans, whatever, when you're making a character, and then you can play undead versions of them. And you have to, that changes like everything you do socially, because if anybody catches on that you're undead, if your face isn't covered or whatever, they freak out because, I mean, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
And obviously people are uncomfortable with that.
Huh.
But you have different mechanics there. Like I rolled an undead elf, and the cool thing is everything that would normally poison other characters actually heals you. And I think eating food actually hurts you. It's like the other way around.
Cool. Yeah.
So I was thinking about it because there was like the first creature I encountered that I had to fight was spewing out like poison or whatever. And apparently you could just stand in the poison
And
puddle.
it would heal you.
And it heals you. And I was like, this is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
One of the things that really interests me about that game that I heard, the replay guys talked about how it has like a dungeon master mode.
Yeah.
That you can basically create your own campaign with it, and like somebody's controlling it as a DM, and then you can have other players come in and play through it.
That's cool. It's like an enhanced guild kind
yeah,
of situation.
Yeah, it does have, I believe, up to like 4-player co-op.
Sweet.
Which there was a D&D
It's turn-based,
game.
but it's only turn-based when you go into combat.
Okay.
So otherwise, you're just wandering around in real time.
There was a D&D game that I think it's out now that is the same sort of mechanic where you can create your own. It is legitimately a Dungeons and Dragons game that has a DM system in it where you can engineer your own campaigns.
It's
but Divinity is like so popular, like
they've been at it for longer, so it's kind of
it's action point based too.
Okay.
So
do you see the monsters in the world, and then like you approve them and start combat? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like random encounters.
No, it's not like you get sucked into the vortex in the ground like Final Fantasy. I think that was one of the reasons why I never played those games. It always irritated me.
Yeah,
just watching people play it.
The only time it irritated me was when I was trying to grind and I couldn't find a battle.
Yeah.
But then there were the times where I was just trying to get from point A to point B.
when you have like 10 health left and no potions, you're like, ugh.
And like you try to get from A to B, and it's like every 3 feet you get hit with a random encounter. But then when you're trying to grind, you can't find a single one. Like
the only game I've ever played that had something even remotely like that was the original Dragon Age had random encounters.
Yeah.
You'd just be going down a road and all of a sudden shit like that would happen.
The funny thing is that like all of the newer RPGs find ways to help you not play them like that anymore.
Right.
Like whether it's Bravely Default where you can kind of like bank turns so that you can just destroy somebody like right at the beginning, or like certain games allow you I think Bravely Default also just allows you to turn off random encounters. If you're like, I'm at the end of this dungeon, I actually beat the boss, but I'm dead and I cannot make it out of here, you can just turn off the random encounters, get all the way back to town, heal up, and then go from there. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird genre where they've kind of been like, hey, turn-based RPGs have a market here, but also people don't really want to play them that much.
Right.
So we're going to allow you to skip over it in some ways. It's just
with just the way technology is now, having random encounters doesn't really like. It made sense back in the day, like to have some kind of random number generator going to decide when you actually get into a battle. But now it's like you have so much freedom as a character in the world. They want to extend that beyond just the actual movement through the realm.
With the development of like Western RPGs, obviously, like it made the Japanese RPGs kind of change the way they work. So it's cool. But anything else? You
Tiny
Forza Troubleshooter 2017.
Yeah, I installed Forza 7. I bought a disc copy just because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But the downside is I won't be able to play it on PC.
That sucks.
But I checked that out, or I thought I was going to check it out, and then it wouldn't launch. So then I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, and then it had to update. It was like 35 gigs or something ridiculous. So I played Destiny for like an hour or two, and then I checked it out, and then it's cool. I mean,
I've heard
they're always fun.
I've heard the people are up in arms about the loot box situation. So
they already changed it.
That. Did they?
Well, the thing that I heard that people were really pissed about was the VIP membership thing.
Was a consumable.
Yeah. It's like it gave you like a bonus like 5 times or something, and that was it. Whereas VIP status in all the other games just gave you double payouts on credits.
If you bought that, like the higher version or whatever, right?
Just if you bought the VIP thing,
Yeah.
which is like the VIP pass is usually like $15-20.
Okay.
You get like a few extra cars, and you get the double credit payout thing.
Yeah.
And that I mean, that's an awesome thing to have because you can buy all the cars and stuff in the game that you want a lot sooner.
Yeah.
It has 700 cars this time.
That's cool.
Like I was really on the fence this time because Project Cars 2 came out too, and I've been hearing really good things about that.
Mm-hmm.
But that only has like 180 something cars, and I was looking at the roster, and they're almost all race cars. And I prefer more real world cars. I mean, those are real world cars, but like everyday cars and stuff like that.
You've also got a Gran Turismo out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well,
you've never played any of the Gran Turismos, have you?
No.
You would enjoy them.
I'm sure I would like them.
Yeah.
I'd like you to grab it and be able to talk about both games. Like,
yeah, even if you just
side.
rented it from FamVid, just to like be able to be like, this is my first experience with one. I think that would be cool to hear.
I have some Family Video gift cards. I
I would like to compare them, but I mean, there's only so many racing games I need when they're like. I mean, like if I get like Forza Horizon 3 or something, that's different because that's like a huge map that they fleshed out.
Yeah,
and there's lots to explore and stuff like that.
Right,
where the motorsports games or like Gran Turismo use real world tracks, and they are the same tracks. It just depends on like which edition you get, which tracks you get.
I just
from what I've heard is they have like a really good track lineup this time around.
Knowing how much you've played the Forza games, I'd be interested to see your opinion on a Gran Turismo game, like how you feel about like the mechanics behind it and like the controls and all of that good stuff. I'd really like to know what you thought.
Yeah,
how Japanese does Gran Turismo feel?
Yeah, Project Cars 2 has the best physics.
Interesting.
All of them. But it was just the cars.
Yeah.
It was like the main reason.
Yeah.
Cool.
I forgot about a game. I didn't want to talk about it in our like review, but whatever. It's just going to be what we've been playing round 2. I also played Cuphead, which came out finally for the Xbox One and the PC.
I saw an interesting Reddit post today about it was the I don't know what the meme name is called, but the guy who's like, you can't do this if blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It was like, you can't have bad reviews if the reviewers can't get past the tutorial. Because everyone's been having trouble getting through the tutorial of Cuphead.
Didn't have any trouble with the tutorial.
See, the article I saw today on Kotaku, I think, was that somebody beat all the Cuphead bosses with DDR controls. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, it's really tough, but it's fun because it's basically like, so you have 2 different kinds of levels so far. I'm not very far in the game. I've beaten 3 of the levels, or 2 of the levels. There's boss type levels where you are fighting a platformer type boss, like a Mega Man kind of boss. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't fought that one yet. But then there's also the like basic platformer level type things where it's like, we're going to drop enemies here. You got to jump at these parts, and there's a dash move and all kinds of stuff. And it's all about recognizing the patterns and trying to beat them. Like, it feels kind of like a shoot 'em up
traditional platformer.
Yeah, but it's just hard. Like, it's a very challenging game. There's like a parry move that doesn't work. The timing doesn't work the way you want it to ever. So it's kind of hard. Like, certain
Does that have anything to do with the animation style, you think? Like, is it just hard to judge?
I don't know if it's hard to judge, or it's just that they placed it in a place that's not quite, it's just not what I anticipated. Like, the parry has to do with, you will have projectiles or something moving at you that are pink or like a light pinkish color that glow, and you have to jump into them and then hit the button again to parry them. And just the timing there is really strange, and I haven't gotten, like, it hasn't made sense to me yet.
Yeah.
But if you do it, then it builds up your super meter, which gives you like a big shot or something.
That's right. I still don't know how to parry in Dark Souls. So,
it felt like as soon as I was playing it, I was like, God, this is a total Rick game because I'm just gonna die 1,000 times, but he doesn't have an Xbox or a PC with which to play it, so he can't even chime in yet. But it's pretty cool. I got it for like $17.99 on Newegg or something like that, and it's cross-play, so I could play it on PC as well. But yeah, did you not end up playing any Golf Story?
No, I'm really way more poor now than I thought I was.
Okay.
So haven't purchased any games. I do want to pick up Golf Story and I want to pick up Stardew Valley,
I did play Golf Story.
but because Mario comes out soon,
You might just hold on to it.
saving my
Oh
money.
yeah, I pre-ordered that.
I think we're just gonna have to do all the games right now, and then we can move to news.
That's
And
fine. Let's do
So,
it.
Golf Story is very cool. It's an RPG where you're playing like the NES style golf or Mario Golf type golf.
Mario Golf on Game Boy Color was like that, and it was one of my favorite games.
Yeah, and it feels a lot like that. The writing is a little bit more like pithy or trying to be fun. It's still a little bit buggy, but I know that they're working on it. There's apparently a pretty big, I don't know if it's necessarily game breaking, but there's a bigger bug later on that they're still trying to crack. But it's $15 and it's on Switch. And if you are looking for a golf game on Switch, it's a great kind of game. It's cool because they have different challenges and things that are like, hey, this course is on a mountain and that mountain has a bunch of birds around it and the birds are attacking the golf balls for some reason. So then you have to like figure out, you do a quest to figure out why they're doing that. And then you do a quest to try and like return their eggs to them, but their eggs are really hard like golf balls, so you can hit them over to them. So you're like hitting to them in different spaces, and there's other quests that are like, hey, I want you to complete this course, but you can only go from bunker to bunker unless you're on the putting green. Like, there's all kinds of different things like that. So
Challenges.
it's cool to see how they're making the different quests like challenging.
They're making it more than just a golf game.
Yep.
It's a golf story.
And you level up and you can put points into stats, but you're like balancing your overall drive with your other control stats. So you could either be like, hey, I'm a tank and can get like a 300-yard drive, but I can't really control where the ball is going.
It's the Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, so you can kind of play with that a little bit, and you also make money off of the quests, which allow you to buy like
Can
different
you get
clubs.
a putter that looks like a hockey stick?
I don't know yet. I wouldn't be surprised if you could, but I have not seen one as of yet.
What was the other dude? It was Shooter McGavin?
Yes. Yeah.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
There's actually disc golf too in it. Like they put up, there's a section where they put up the baskets so you can play it like that.
You can smoke a joint and get a buff.
Yeah. Not that I've seen as of yet.
You got to run from the cops in the park.
Right. Yeah.
The game actually starts with your like ex-wife or ex-girlfriend calling you to be like, hey, are you going to pick up your stuff? And then the character's like, no, I have to go back to the golf course. I'm going to become a golfer like my father always wanted me to be, like that kind of thing. It's really funny. So I'm like,
why haven't they made just a straight up disc golf game? I just want to throw that out there.
I don't. There was
VR.
You can like smoke a joint and then like drink a bottle of kombucha, and it makes you really good.
There was a
Well, maybe disc golf will be in the next GTA.
Right. There was a the Wii Sports type thing that came out for PlayStation Move when it originally came out for the PS3 did have a disc golf section in it. Yeah, and it worked really well too.
Huh.
So. But anyway, that's Golf Story. Finally, I beat Metroid Samus Returns. I started and beat Metroid Samus Returns on the plane from Japan, and while I was in Japan. That game is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for more Metroid. And I hope Prime 4 is awesome. And there's like hooks at the end of this game that suggest where they might go with it next. And I'm like, oh my God, I want more Metroid. And
I would just like the Prime series released on Switch right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
If I could play through those games again, it would make me so happy.
Yeah.
Corey and I spent a lot of time playing those games.
I know. I played it with you guys. We played the competitive mode all the time.
If I could play those games at all.
Hacker mode.
I mean, I played
you
the
wouldn't,
first
you
one
don't you don't have
bit.
the time to play those games though. You've got so many other games to play.
It's too much Destiny, right?
And
But
Forza.
It's really good. I beat it in about 13 hours or something like that. That was just on the normal mode. There's like 2 hard modes, one of which is locked behind the
Hard
amiibo.
and harder.
Hard
and hardest.
Hard and Fusion. It puts you into the suit from Metroid Fusion.
Cool.
But it's really good. And They added new mechanics into it from Metroid 2. Like it's new from it hasn't been in any other Metroid game.
Metroid 2 was the one on Game Boy.
On Game Boy.
I did play that one.
That then
actually.
got
I never
remade.
finished it, but
It got remade by like fans as AM2R, which I played and talked about last year.
Yeah.
I only played it on Game Boy, the original.
Yeah, which is like that's the reason why I never played that game. I was like, this is like I was used to Super Metroid.
Yeah,
and going
it's
back
like a
to
step
NES
back for
or
sure.
Game Boy Metroid is really hard. So the fact that they've brought it forward to the 3DS, and also like they added a new parry system to this as well, where the monsters will attack you and you have to like hit them at the right moment to then stun them, and it also takes less time to kill them if you do that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
still
really
baffling
cool.
to me why they wouldn't put it on the Switch, though.
I agree. I totally agree. It doesn't make any sense. They should port it over immediately. They should stop making.
I mean,
games for the
maybe they
3DS.
started doing this like before the Switch was even announced.
Probably.
I don't know.
I mean, they've been talking about the Switch in some terms
I
for a
think
couple of
it
years
was.
now.
It's
but
more along the lines of they didn't want to like count all their eggs before they hatched, kind of thing. Like the Switch, They did not expect the Switch to do as well as it has done.
That's true. But I also think some of it is like I think Nintendo legitimately does feel the need to take care of its 3DS owners still.
Well, yeah, because they're basically what's kept them alive over the past decade.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's very nice of them to be like, hey, we still want you guys to have something to play. This is not the end. The Switch came out, but we're not done with the 3DS yet. That's cool,
Well, I
but
mean,
I still wish they could put it out for both.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. There are people that have a 3DS and a Switch, Exhibit A,
Yep.
who would buy it for both.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, B, C.
I
Whatever.
might not buy it
All
for
the
both.
exhibits.
I would probably buy it for both because I bet like they'd make less of one of them, and then it would be more rare, and then it would be worth money later on.
Sure,
like that.
or something, or the Switch version comes with a crazy ass amiibo of some sort. You know, like who knows? But like there are people that will buy both. Like that does exist. Like that. I mean, obviously, like we bought Destiny 1 on 2 different consoles, and we're probably
Can you
buying it
stop
on
bringing that
PC
up?
as well.
I'm not getting it on Xbox this time.
No, I probably not either. But
I
probably
turned on
pick
my
it up on
Xbox
PC.
the other day to
Just
install Forza, and
seeing how
it
good
was
it
just very
looked.
sad looking.
Seeing how good it looked on PC makes me want to have it on PC.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's really all it boils down to.
I may actually get an Xbox.
Which that
I
comes out.
wasn't going to before, but now I want to see Forza in 4K.
I just need to know if our raid crew is going to pick up Anthem. That's all I need to find out.
We'll find out. Depends on what kind of shape that. Yeah, we'll.
If those
we're gonna
guys,
talk
if anybody
about it,
from
obviously,
ASL are listening, if you're picking up Anthem on PS4, let me know.
but if
ASAP.
anybody listening in general is going to pick it up,
I'm going to throw it out there again before we switch topics, though. If you want to jam on Destiny with us, the name of our clan is Age Shack's Location,
yeah.
abbreviated ASL. Request an invite, and I will add anybody.
Or message
And-
us on something, and we'll figure out how to get an invite. Message us your
Gamer tag.
game.
You
your
have to message
PlayStation
us
gamer
on
tag.
AIM before it gets
No,
shut down.
you don't have to do that.
And
But
you
Yeah.
have to say ASL.
yes, you have to go into an AOL chat room. Find one of the discs that was handed out at
Right.
your local Blockbuster 30 years ago.
What's a blockbuster?
Man,
But-
I was collecting those for so
I know.
long.
They
I
were-
had a ton of them.
They were great for frisbee.
I
frisbee
used them for
as
drink
well.
coasters.
That makes sense.
There are people making like plate armor out of them. Like that was a thing for a while.
That's the right way to do it, I think. But
Yeah. Anyways,
I didn't use these fancy buttons. Like look over here, because you see at the top where it says current topic.
yeah.
This will be better for a normal episode, but I can take that away and like put this up, and then I can take that away and put this up.
Ah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so
pretty
this
rad.
is for the Twitch watchers out there.
Cool.
But anyway, I bought this thing and it's fun. But anyway, that's
There's
so,
no soundboard yet, though.
not
We're
yet.
working on
No, that would be an iPad that I would pipe into the Zoom. So then I just have like fucking
pepperoni pizza? What the hell is that, anyways?
Why we don't need the
My
Arnold
CPUs and all
soundboard.
that.
We
Yeah.
only sell pepperoni and bullets.
We have
I mean,
two. We
you
have
guys
two Arnold
do Arnold
soundboards.
9mm bullets.
almost better than he does. So.
But anyway,
How bizarre. We get the how bizarre. Like anytime somebody's like, well, that's strange. How bizarre.
I also bought one of these things. I don't know why. I'm probably gonna sell it to somebody. But
We'll give it away. It'll
we'll
be
give
a
it away
giveaway.
or something. And then
I
this
don't
is
know.
This
What's
is
that
the-
Squeenix thing you
This
have
is
there?
the only thing that I got. I got 2 things from the Tokyo Game Show. This like catalog that shows off
Drop
Squeenix
something.
games,
Ta-da.
and then some like download card for Let It Die that probably doesn't work in the U.S. anyway. So I don't know. I was just really overwhelmed, and it was cool, but there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So
I can't read any of this.
yeah, exactly. Anyway,
What is it on Japanese?
Kanji.
Anyway, hey, watch this transition. Since we're going to talk about news now, I'm going to hit this button,
Oh, snap.
and then it shows
Oh, look at
our
that.
Chrome thing, and
Yeah.
we're still up in the upper left corner.
Cool. All right, so news. So PUBG versus Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite, actually, a lot of our the dudes in our ASL have started playing Fortnite and really enjoy it. So
Yeah.
They seem to like it better than PUBG, which makes me
Yeah.
a little upset.
Well, but who has actually played both?
Jeff
Has played both.
I
Okay.
guess.
I didn't know that yet. I know that Zach was
Yeah, Zach
playing
has
Fortnite, but
yeah, but anyways, the gist of this article is that Epic is the creator of Fortnite. They've made the Battle Royale Fortnite standalone version, and they are being told by Bluehole that Bluehole might be extending some legal action their way for having ripped off a PUBG, essentially.
The biggest conflict of interest here is that they
Well,
are
Epic
the-
created the
yeah,
Unreal Engine,
exactly.
which is what's used for
that's
PUBG.
their license.
And supposedly, I think I heard this on the Replay podcast, those guys were talking about how the parent company of Epic asked or wanted to acquire Bluehole.
Yeah.
And Bluehole turned them down. And
Bluehole turned them down and then said yes to Tencent, I think, who owns
Yeah.
like League of Legends or something.
something like that. And so then the parent company said to Epic, like, let's put them in the ground or something to that effect.
Probably.
Like, so the issue being that
Or maybe Epic is owned by Tencent.
Yeah,
There's
I don't-
something weird
I
going
don't
on
know.
anyway.
It's all this cross contamination. But essentially, like, there's people are up in arms over this because, like, the idea that, like, at what point does it become an issue that they've created a similar game?
See, but like PUBG is an iteration on like
Was it H1Z1?
yeah, like earlier games.
Which is also based off of the
Arma.
Arma mod.
Right.
However, PlayerUnknown made those.
Yeah,
or-
that's true.
Or was part of the development.
but then
team.
also like there's the Culling and King of the Kill.
I mean, there's other stuff.
There's a
out
bunch
there
of
for
other
sure.
games. Like
There's
that's the thing.
There's the Battle Royale mode or Last Man Standing mode in GTA.
here's
Yeah, that's
here's
just
what you
a rip off too.
here's the thing. PlayerUnknown, whatever his name is, Brendan, whatever,
Bluehole.
Bluehole guy, or
He is not-
it's now PUBG Corporation. is
He's
what
not
it's-
the one that made this statement either. It's
This was
somebody
Bluehole.
else. Yeah,
It's
that
the
works for
Bluehole legal team, like
The
being like-
entire Blue Hole.
yeah. This message came forth out of the blue hole, and basically no. But here's the thing: this dude had such a good idea,
Mr. Blue Hole.
Mr. Blue. No, PlayerUnknown himself, who is an actual person,
Oh, okay.
had an idea that was so good that it is now becoming a genre.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously people are going to copy it.
Yes.
I'd say the only strange thing about this is the fact that it is Epic specifically.
Yeah, that the
That is
people
very
creating the engine.
Yeah, and then they like kind of put it out so fast, like, hey, here's
That's
this.
that's the thing. Is
Even
that
though like their game is still in early
Well,
access.
I mean, that's what we get
As
for
well.
creating an environment where the only games anybody actually gives a shit about are the ones that stream online.
Yeah.
So
That's the main. I think the biggest problem here, the reason that Bluehole is crying into their millions of dollars, is that they're basically just like,
Their blue hole filled with cash.
you guys have beaten us to the console marketplace, because they're obviously like trying to shove the Xbox version out of the door with like all of Microsoft's weight behind it. But yet Epic comes out and is like, hey, guess what? We had Fortnite. You used to have to pay to get it. Guess what? Now you can download it for free, and it's just
Well,
the
here's the deal.
PlayerUnknown copy version.
Yeah.
And it's available on all 3 consoles. Go ahead. And there's crossplay. Check it out.
Well, there's not supposed to be. But
Well, no, there's
barely
crossplay
it
between
works.
PC and PS4, and there's
Oh,
PC
really?
between Xbox.
Oh.
But there was also PS4 and Xbox crossplay that was
Right.
accidental. So it
Whoops! I thought I was just turning the lights on, but I enabled crossplay.
it was like
Whoops.
hey, you want to see something?
Check this out. Nobody's looking.
Look what I just did.
But no, I get where Bluehole's coming from,
Well,
but
the funny thing is, and
They've already sold so many copies too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't see what.
no.
This isn't really necessary.
the funny thing about it is the response I'm hearing from people, and again, my third or fourth name drop of the replay guys were talking about how like people are literally saying the only reason I'm playing this is to get ready to play PUBG on a console.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
that's literally the only reason. They're like, we wouldn't play it if it wasn't free. Like it's a free game, and it's literally just getting them in the mindset and to understand the mechanics of playing a game like PUBG with a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard. Makes total sense. Like.
And the Fortnite version of it does have mechanics from Fortnite. Like you can build structures
Right.
and stuff like that.
And
which
destroy
is-
them.
Yeah, which is different than in PUBG.
And there are no vehicles.
But
That changes things a lot too.
Because people would just mow down the structures everybody makes.
That would be awesome.
engine owning shadiness aside, good on Epic for being like, hey, check this out.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
But-
think this will only make PUBG better too.
And I
because they
think-
actually have competition now.
when all of the player base of Fortnite Battle Royale leaves and goes to play PUBG,
But that's
it's going to be a pretty telling sign.
if they want to keep their player base, just turn on the crossplay completely, and
That
you
would be
will retain
interesting.
your entire player base because every motherfucker out there
Yeah.
will just be so stinky, salty, angry, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, fuck Xbox, no, fuck PS4, well fuck PC," but and it's just gonna be this like back and forth like it's salt pile that everyone. It's just gonna be amazing, and so. People will stay there because they gravitate towards.
I just thought of a
anger.
really good guild name. It should have been the Salt Lick. That's awesome. Somebody
Well, now
else take
somebody's
that and
gonna
run with
take it.
That's okay. I'm all right with
We're
that.
good
Yeah.
with ASL.
But anyways, that's my first news story.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I'm interested to see if they do end up doing anything legally. But it's such a stupid situation.
I want to know what
that-
the player base what happens to the player base after PUBG comes out on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more interested in to see like how many people actually
Like,
do
this
nosedive
is-
off of it.
This is the moment in time where like Friendster and MySpace and like all of these things were coming together and jockeying for position, and then ultimately Facebook won out.
Right.
We're kind of getting to that point of like, all right, we've got player unknown, and then there's also now Fortnite is becoming a formidable player, and like who else is going to join the fray? And then in the end, who's going to
Yeah,
win
it was
out?
like you had like Match.com and like Plenty of Fish or whatever, and then Tinder was like fuck all y'all. Like,
and then yeah.
Yeah, but it's an interesting story, and I'm interested to
You've
see.
got to think that like Sony has a team working on a battle
on
royale
something.
game,
Yeah.
and they'd be stupid because
yeah, they hired
like,
Konami to do it with that new Metal
I mean, I
Gear
guess
game.
this is your way to play on
I think
Sony console right now, is
Fortnite.
to play Fortnite.
Yeah, I think that might be part of
That's
it.
what.
Because
Yeah.
Sony doesn't have like an early access type thing, but they kind of let Fortnite do it anyway. So it's kind of a weird situation. But
Probably because it was free.
yeah, I don't know. Well, no, because there were boxed retail copies. I don't know. Fortnite is weird, and we don't need to continue talking about
Yeah.
a game that none of us have played. So
Anyways.
I have it installed. I am gonna check it out just to see what all the similarities are.
cool. John, do you want to do your other?
Yeah, that's fine.
What?
So yeah, Mountain Dew and Doritos are gonna have
I'm so good at capture the flag.
It's
You
an
gotta be
alternate
kidding
reality
me.
capture the flag that is happening in New York, LA, and Chicago on the weekend of November 10th, which is after the Xbox One X drops on the 7th. So if you live there, according to this GameSpot article, if you live there or are up for the road trip, you can download the Drop Zone app and take part in a real-time location-based AR game for a chance to win an Xbox One X. Nobody really knows how it's going to work exactly, but it's essentially like capture the flag.
Generally, you get a flag and then you bring it back to your flag.
Yeah, it's not quite that. It sounds more like a Pokemon like
Pokemon Go
or
That's dumb.
taking over gyms.
taking over a specific location and holding it from other people for an extended period of time. That's
so
like
this isn't like Quake 2, and I don't get an AR or like
No.
a grappling hook or anything.
Sadly, no.
and if you're attending New York Comic Con this weekend currently, that's happening like while we're talking.
Yeah.
You could have pre-registered for the Drop Zone event.
Huh.
So they're also allowing you to obviously rack up points and codes and things from purchasing Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Bless you.
Oh man, that was
Jesus.
fucking massive.
I bumped the mic too.
Yeah. Gross. Oh my god. You can rack
Did
up.
you fart at the scene? I'm just kidding.
You can rack up points and codes and things online using, purchasing these items, Doritos, any of the Doritos items, Mountain Dews, blah, blah, blah. And they're actually going to allow you to use those points to auction off. To auction off. You can. I can't talk right now.
The least elegant thing that has ever occurred in all of history.
In all of history. I'm sure there are far less elegant things that have happened in history.
I was laughing and I got up. I like lost all the blood in my head. So I kneeled down before I fell over.
Oh,
Good thing
God.
Brian wasn't a ballerina.
So you get these codes to do what? You get to auction them?
No,
in, like,
sorry,
this-
not you can use the points to like make bids with the points to win an Xbox One X online too. So it's like they're
Okay.
creating their own current like cryptocurrency and their own eBay to like make it so you have to like
This sounds terribly shady.
yeah, you have to buy a shitload of Mountain Dew and like Doritos in order
You're buying like $1,000 worth of Mountain Dew and Doritos to get
get,
a
like-
$500 Xbox.
yeah, like you have to buy like I mean this is capitalism at its finest, let's be honest. I mean go America,
I
this is the
guess.
world we live in
Yeah.
now.
Jesus.
We're all going to turn orange from the Doritos and we'll look just like our commander in chief. It'll be amazing. I highly doubt he smells like nacho cheese Doritos though. He probably smells like
It's
Ben Gay
probably
in diapers.
It's probably part of the
Yeah.
the
But
odor
anyways,
buffet.
yeah, they're basically. It sounds to me like they're creating their own cryptocurrency that you get by buying Doritos
What's
and
it
Mountain
called?
Dew. It's I don't know. It's,
Dorito bucks.
yeah,
$3.
Dollaritos. I don't fucking know.
It's like in Destiny. Instead of bright dust, it's orange dust.
Yeah, orange dust.
It's the dust on your
Orange
fingers.
powder. Cheesy orange powder. How many cheesy orange powders do you have? I have 10 because I purchased 15,000 Dorito bags. So yeah, it just I don't know.
That's cool, but I feel like
Nobody's gonna buy the damn thing at launch.
Plus
So
it's promoting obesity.
when have you ever
Welcome
known
to
them to
video
promote
games.
anything other than obesity? Like that's I mean look at the South Park episode with World of Warcraft promoted
Jeff
obesity.
Keighley, our Doritos Pope, has willed this on us. That's just
But yeah,
That's,
who
I can't
cares?
imagine it's gonna work well.
Oh,
like it's
man.
connected to
All
a
I
server
know is
system.
I've always tried to do these things. Like whenever they have these contests for this kind of shit, like I'm always like, oh, I like Mountain Dew and Doritos, so I'll go buy some and maybe I'll win. But I never do. Or like when they had like the PlayStation 4 came out and Taco Bell
Oh
was
yeah, I
like,
definitely bought Taco Bell a few more times. than
Taco
normal.
Bell was like, you could win a PlayStation 4. And even though I already had one, I was like, I'm going
But
to
I
eat a bunch
could
of
win
Taco
one.
Bell because it only cost me $5. I get a whole meal and I might win a PS4. Never won shit from any of
Yeah.
those things, but it didn't stop me from buying that crap. Clearly, people are going to do this. And if there's anything we know about Mountain Dew and their ability to like coerce people into buying shit for the sake of video games, Call of Duty, anybody?
yeah.
It's going to work out in their favor. So props to you, Pepsi, for dominating that market. But yeah, I don't care about this. I want to actually like. I'll probably if I do end up getting a Bone X, like I probably won't. But if I do get one, I'm just gonna walk into the store and buy one the day they come out because they're not gonna be that hard.
Yeah,
to find.
I
Let's
don't
be honest.
imagine it's going to be that difficult to get them. The thing is, I feel like this. Number one, if there was like some AR capture the flag game, I kind of want to see what it's like because that's cool. Maybe there's something cool there. But then also, I don't feel like it's going to work well because it's going to be like Pokemon Go and all the servers are going to die when they try to do this thing. So it's
Right.
like
Yep.
we're not going to drive to Chicago to go and try and do this because that's just going to be a waste of our time.
I mean, it'd be funny to go and watch other people doing
It
it.
would be a good episode.
That's true. I don't know. Anyway.
Now that you said that, I kind of want to go.
Well, it's the same weekend as Curicon.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it
We
depends
gotta-
on
we
how
gotta
we
figure
sort
stuff
that
out.
out. But anyways,
Anyway.
that's my last news story.
All right. Just in case you thought we were done with Destiny, Brian wanted to talk about some Destiny too.
Yeah. There's the first Iron Banner
Did
starting this
you
week.
read the article?
I actually didn't know.
All right.
So Iron Banner starts this week, and they're also
Yes.
going to release the Prestige Raid.
There's going to be no like power requirement or like gear doesn't matter this time
Yeah, so
in the Crucible.
the important
or
thing
in
about
Iron Banner.
the important thing about Iron Banner from the first game was that your power level or your light level actually mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Where in normal Crucible it did not matter.
It mattered in Trials of Osiris
the
too,
term
and
is-
it does not matter in Trials
The
of
term
9.
is level
nine.
advantages. So the level advantages are disabled now in all Crucible events, including Trials of the Nine. So even for Iron Banner, they're disabling level advantages so that it doesn't matter what level your power's at. I mean, they'll probably say you have to be like level 280 to do this. No
You're
matter
going to be
what.
level 20 because you can't do trials.
Level
unless you're
20,
level
and your
20.
power level has to be 280 to partake in it in the least bit. But it doesn't actually matter if you're between 280 and 305. Everyone will be on the same level.
I'm kind of bummed out about that because I did like the one PvP thing that I would reliably go back to in Destiny 1 was the Iron Banner because I liked that like, oh, I've got this sweet gear and it matters that I have Jellyhorn.
Yeah, but that's the
So-
thing. That's the best. The best part about it is that it doesn't like it's all skill based now. Like you
Yeah.
actually have to be good.
See, but that's-
you
that's-
can't just have
Yeah, but you
stronger
need those
shit.
advantages to make up for your lack of skills. What
Yeah,
you're saying,
yeah,
right?
no, but
you need the Gjallarhorn buff.
But that was what I liked about the division between you've got Crucible, which is normalized and hopefully everybody can play and have fun
I
with.
thought you were talking about Ubisoft's
I
division.
was like, what? Yeah.
Excuse
where-
me.
I
Then
didn't
you've
think
also
you liked
got
anything about that.
Then you've also got the Iron Banner, which means that your level advantages matter. You can go in there and whoop ass if you've like really played this game a lot and gotten your light level or whatever up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Trials of Osiris, which is like this is skill based, team based. You need to,
well, I think
let's
they realize
manufacture
that
some salt.
literally everyone playing the game plays it so much that the levels don't actually matter, and you can just like it's basically Sweatfest 2017.
I liked the way that system played, and so here's the thing: I haven't played any trials yet, so I don't really know what the major separation between trials and competitive Crucible is. But then also, how is Iron Banner going to differentiate other than just, hey, you get these other kinds of tokens that give you other types of armor?
That's basically it.
That's what it sounds like. So that's it's disappointing to me that they would make it so that these three distinct PvP options are now more samey. They just give you different rewards. Like that doesn't really make that much sense to me.
That's essentially what they did to the entire rest of the game, though, is they just made everything the same. You just get different rewards. I mean, you can go to any planet. You can get an armor set specific to the planet.
But I didn't go to I didn't go to Mars on the first game to like experience the Mars shit. I don't care about that. It's not like I'm going there to fight the Cabal.
No, I
don't
know.
care about that. But I went specifically to Iron Banner because I was like, I've got good loot. Hey, I've got Thorn and Gjallarhorn. No, you can't equip both at the same time. But it's like, hey, I've got these good pieces of loot. I want to put it up against these other people's best and see what it is. The fact that doesn't exist as of yet in Destiny 2, like the fact that they don't have that plethora of offerings of like these are the different PvP experiences you can have. I don't think that's cool. That doesn't make sense. Like in terms of the single player, you've got, hey, you can go and do patrol missions on the planet. You can come and do some strikes. You can go and do the meditations if you want to replay through the single player stuff.
Forgetting about those.
You have these different types of experiences you can go to in the PvE, the raid. Like that all
Right.
makes sense. But for the PvP to be like, hey, here's quick play where you just want to fuck around. Here's competitive where you're going to be expected to communicate with your team. Here's trials where that's the same thing. And Iron Banner where I presume that's also the same thing. That kind of sucks. And I hope they maybe move towards a way where they start to pull these apart and make them more unique experiences.
Right.
Because
I mean,
I really appreciated that about.
What I think they should have done is had a specific gameplay mode that is only active during Iron Banner. That would make sense to me. Instead, it's just going to be one of the gameplay modes that it always is, right?
Yeah, if they're just like, it's control.
I think it is control.
And here's
right?
the one map you're playing on for the whole weekend.
Yeah, it is control.
It's not one map, though.
Okay, that's good. But
the armor does look awesome.
Yeah,
really fucking.
the Warlock
cool.
armor looks like a samurai, and I totally want it. So good job.
It all
you
the
succeeded
armor
in
looks
making me
sweet.
want to play.
It's the only
Let-
reason I
let
took
the
part
grind begin.
in the faction rally was so I
Gosh.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily sound like it's going to be as much of a grind anymore
Okay.
because it's a full set of armor.
It will be because you're going to get 10 of the same armor piece
that's entirely
until
true.
you get one of the next ones, and then you're going to get 15 of the auto rifles. And
Like the way they locked off the loot in the Iron Banner was always kind of the tough part to me of like, okay, this means I got to be playing Iron Banner every day this week
They
in order to
changed
get to
it.
rank 5.
they did. They changed it later on, and it was much more feasible.
It sounds like this is even more streamlined of like you're getting rep tokens
get-
and you turn it in and you get an engram and that's
Yeah.
how it is.
Destiny,
cool.
the slot machine.
Are there weapons?
We don't. That hasn't been confirmed
They
yet.
just kind of showed off
Apparently,
the armor
it says
set.
Bungie hints at some mysterious changes and rewards.
Changes.
Let's read
I read
this
that
article.
much of the article.
The changes I think mainly pertain to the prestige raid. They're changing some of the mechanics of the different sections of the raid, I think is what it meant. But yeah, no, it's good that we're reading the article now.
No,
in the
please
middle
keep
of us.
talking so I can read it and then I can chime in.
I
Yeah,
didn't read
the armor
this one
the armor looks really
Armor
sweet.
looks
This
awesome.
this Warlock looks
Yeah.
so rad.
Very cool. Look at the Titan armor. Look how sweet his helmet is.
They're all very very
I
cool.
want all the helmets with
Ooh, that
horns on
hunter
them. It's
mask.
amazing.
Yeah. The more horns you can put on a helmet, the better it is, pretty much.
Not necessarily. I thought the stag looked retarded.
No, it was cool.
It was just It looked.
It wasn't as
ridiculous.
cool as the ram, though, for obvious
The
reasons.
ram was cool. Yeah, being a goat.
Well, no, the ram's not.
Yeah, so it sounds like
form of
the
goat.
It's a sheep.
the
Sheep,
prestige
goats.
raid is
I don't really know.
Sheep. Rams are sheep.
Prestige raid is recommended power level 300. They are going to be figuring out who's doing world first. Like they are paying attention to that. So I don't
Yeah.
know if there's going to be like a special something for that. But
Something.
they say here our goal is not to provide a boon to your character progression, but there are unique rewards to help you shine. So this must be the auras that are still locked.
Yeah,
right?
or just new shaders. All shaders.
If you finish the prestige raid, it goes back to the old shader system.
Yeah. All of your shaders turn into single use, like.
You can equip
yeah.
and unequip. Yeah. No, I have no interest in doing prestige nightfalls or raids. Honestly.
I want to do it because I would like to actually get all the trophies
That's-
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Are they adding a trophy? Well, you can get it for
No,
doing the prestige Nightfall.
well,
Yes.
you
you
can
have-
get that same trophy
Yeah, I
for
know,
doing
I
the
know.
Nightfall.
Yep. Yeah, it says prestige.
I meant
Nightfall
one
or
of
raid.
those two at least.
That's fair. I would maybe do it once, but
or
I
if
don't.
there's special, there's probably specific loot.
I don't think there is though. I don't know.
Yeah, it says there are unique rewards.
Well, okay, for the
to
the
help
raid,
you
yes.
shine. Oh, it is.
It's got to be the auras.
It's got to be the
Damn it.
auras.
Which what do the auras
Shine.
actually do? They just is it just a cosmetic thing again?
It probably
or-
just makes you glow. Like
Yeah, it's like that blue glowing effect you can get in the farm
Oh yeah.
just all the time.
That's cool. Not.
you glow gold though.
I don't know. Anyway, Brian, your other story that you didn't read. I'm just kidding. You
I did read
post
this,
about
but it was like weeks ago.
yeah.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch has golf hidden in it. Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
In a
It's in the firmware,
yes.
built into the firmware. John's just laughing because
He
Golf
didn't
the
fucking
game.
read the article.
Golf
He
the game.
just picks the article out and doesn't even read it.
all right.
I did read it weeks ago.
So
I
here's
just forgot it.
here's the story.
Plus, Alex said he hasn't talked enough. So
Somebody went into the Switch firmware and pulled it apart and found an emulator called Flog. And it turned out that it wasn't only just an emulator, but it was Golf,
Spelled
the original
backwards.
NES game,
no way.
emulated. And they managed to like hack it together and get it running and found out that not only is it an emulated version of NES Golf, but it actually has motion controls and it works with the Joy-Con. So you could basically play golf with the Joy-Con and actually use these motion controls to play an NES game.
That's pretty cool.
Then
I don't remember reading that part.
something more came out of it. Somebody realized, or at least somebody from the 8-4 Play podcast actually kind of went on Twitter and was like, hey, people are talking about this idea that it's an omamori, which is like a little charm that you can get or put up at like a Japanese temple to kind of safeguard or protect somebody or something, that kind of thing.
Don't they have those in Neo?
Yeah. But this one is kind of like, this is the idea that this was built into the NES firmware, or the Switch firmware, in order to kind of like protect it and act as a charm. But then it also came together. Somebody figured out, either through data mining that firmware more or something like that, this emulator, this game, becomes available one day of the year. It is July 11th, which is the death day of Iwata, the former president of Nintendo. And you have to do his Nintendo Direct movement with the Joy-Cons in order to activate it on that day.
Really?
To play it. So it's only available for that day. You cannot change the date if you have ever... You can change the date.
If you've ever gone on the internet, you're screwed.
Yes, because
if you buy a brand new Switch and you don't go on the internet, you can activate this.
You can change the date to July 11th and play it. But you have to have a brand new Switch if you're going to do it that way.
Pick up that one at Maya that's there right
Otherwise, you got to wait until July 11th next year.
I'm going to put that in my calendar. We're going to have to do that.
That would be cool.
Too bad somebody didn't figure this out earlier in the year.
I know, right?
But that's the thing. I mean, was it really meant to be figured out?
And that's the thing. Like, Nintendo has not come out and confirmed anything about this. They have not said a word. Number one, probably because they don't want to applaud people hacking apart their firmware is probably the main thing. But also, like, maybe this was just a thing that was in there to be meaningful to people who worked at Nintendo and knew Iwata and that kind of thing. But
it's pretty cool.
Jesus, if that's not touching, like, that's fucking awesome. That's such a cool Easter egg to put into your system.
Well, and it's a great memorial to an amazing person who affected that company.
And that was the other thing. Golf was programmed by him.
Yeah.
Because the idea, people were like, hey, we're not going to fit 18 holes of golf on the 2 kilobytes that this NES cartridge is, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
challenge accepted.
And then he went and did it. So there's that's an added level of awesomeness to it. So it's just a really cool story. And everybody's probably heard it by now, but I figured we should bring it up.
Yeah, for
I'm sure there will be a Lifetime movie about it at some point.
Yes. Probably not.
No.
Hallmark Channel.
Yes.
The game.
Anything else on your story, Brian?
No, I think I summed it up pretty good.
You did a great job. So a Red Dead trailer came out at the end of September.
Hell yeah.
It looks awesome. That's really all I have to say about that. It's gorgeous.
The horse has animated nuts. John pointed out earlier.
The first thing John sees.
It's very
in the trailer.
important.
So it appears that it's going to be a prequel, which I don't think we knew before this trailer came out. Especially since it's titled Red Dead Redemption 2.
But I don't think it has anything to do with John Marston.
It is the gang that John Marston was a part of as a child or younger. So he was in the first game. He talks about being a part of Dutch's gang, and the characters that you see in this game, like it appears the main character or one of the main characters is this dude named Morgan who works for Dutch and Dutch's gang. So and then Dutch does appear somewhere in here, like talking to Morgan at some point, but there's swamps and there's crocodiles in them, and it looks terrifying, and that's awesome. There's also bears, and they look like they're in lakes, so it sounds like we can no longer push them into lakes to make them inactive anymore.
Right.
But damn it if we're not going to try.
Really, you'll probably just draw a crocodile closer to you by pushing a bear in.
Yeah. So, no, it looks great. They're still saying spring 2018.
I'm projecting fall 2018.
Yeah, I would think by then at least. They could still meet spring, but it's Rockstar, so you have to be skeptical. So
Right.
Any thoughts on Red Dead other than it's Red Dead?
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm
We're
excited.
going to have a very large posse.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're going to have to get some Goodwill Hunting going. That's for damn sure. But, yeah, and then other than that, my other story that I wanted to bring up, The Witness is now out on iPad. It's only $10.
$10.
I know. That's what I saw
might
when I
just
looked
buy
this
it
up.
again.
I kind of just want to buy it again, even though now I could play it in like 4K or like 2K, 144 frames on my computer. It has been revamped to completely use touch controls. So that kind of, not revamped, but they just designed it.
I always thought it would be a perfect game for touch controls.
Totally. So that like that's kind of why
I mean,
I'm
like navigating the island would be kind of irritating, but
Yeah.
like the actual puzzles
are going to be great.
Going to be perfect.
Yeah. Like, so I kind of want to check it out. I think everybody who has access to an iPad that can run it should buy it for $10.
Yeah, that's one of the other ones I want to pick up because I
It's-
haven't played it at all. So
Yeah.
I think
And
it
you
would
have
be,
the best iPad of all of us.
I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, out of the three of us.
It's so good. It's a beautiful game.
I still haven't finished it.
That's a shame because it's
I
fantastic.
got stuck. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't feel like cheating.
Sounds like you just got to start over on iPad now.
I don't even think I could figure out some of that stuff again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It came out at $39.99 on the other platforms. It still is $39.99. I think they put it out for $20 on the NVIDIA Shield earlier this year. But now it's $10 on iOS, and that's so low that everybody should.
They've made their money at this point, so they can probably afford to do
totally
cheaper version.
Yeah.
Well,
and
plus
I
I think there's a breaking point of how much money people will pay on a on a mobile device.
Yeah,
you know,
$10
like
that's
is-
exactly what the Polygon thing says here.
Yeah.
It says Thekla, who's the company that ported it, said they're selling the iOS version for $10 in the App Store, a quarter of the price, and it's because they just know that it's and like.
I mean, look.
$5 is asking a lot of somebody for an iOS.
Look at the
game.
Square Enix games that are on touch devices. Like it's like not mobile devices. Like all of those Square Enix games are like $15 or more, and I refuse to buy them until they go on sale for like $5.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's just like, are you kidding me? I don't like one of the Final Fantasies was like $25, and I'm like, no fucking way am I going to pay $25 for a game I'm playing on my phone? Like
No thanks.
no way.
No thanks.
I had a hard enough time back in the day buying polyphonic ringtones for 99 cents, let alone this bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
So $10 I think is a good price point, especially considering like how much you guys really enjoyed it and the amount of time you've spent playing it.
Totally
I mean,
worth $10.
It blows Catan out of the water, I'm sure. So.
That's kind of the crazy thing. Like, I guess that's maybe a really cool idea, is the idea that like, okay, this is coming out on consoles at a premium, $39.99, which is still less than other retail games, but they put it out, and then a year and a half later, almost 2 years later, they're like, hey, now we can put it out on iOS cheaper.
Well,
and
that's the other
recoup
like,
even more money back.
And again,
probably.
again, I feel like it's one of those games where like people who have played it already and own it on consoles will probably buy it on their touch device and play it on the go, like, you know, just cause it has puzzles and it's one, you know, I just feel like it's one of those games that you guys would, you know.
I'm totally gonna pick it up, because then next time I'm on a flight and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, how about I just hop into The Witness for a little bit? Like it's totally that kind of game where you could just set it down and then pick it back up later.
Yeah,
on.
you just finish a set of puzzles and move on.
Yeah. So it's
Or you set it down when you can't figure
For sure, and
anything
that's
out.
like Megan would be into it. She really likes those sort of puzzle games, like
Totally.
What is it, like The Room or something like
Yep.
that? That sound like she likes those, and
I
like
told you that a while ago.
Yeah,
You
so
should
she-
get that.
no,
so
I
she
know.
can play it.
I'm telling the podcast
but this
listeners.
yeah, like the iPad version is going to be more accessible to the people that are like, hey, I like those puzzle solving
And she's
iPad.
gonna
Yeah,
want to
oh,
use
for
your
sure.
iPad.
She can go out and buy her own. I bought my own. She has an iPad. It's not this
Oh, really?
one, though. Yeah, she hasn't. It's like an iPad 2nd gen or something like that. It's old school.
It's probably like 30 pounds.
It is way heavier than
black
mine,
and white.
but it works. It gets the job done. She's taken on every trip she's been on.
No, it's one of those. It's green. It's only green.
Oh, yeah.
Like way back in the day. It's not
Yeah.
even black.
It's
and
like
white.
looking at one of those Fallout terminals.
Yep.
It's a CRT.
CRT display. She's got to crank it to power it up.
It's actually a iBox. It's
the
not,
iBox.
not much of a pad.
Yeah. So
I think
anyways,
that's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
What are we doing next time?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We can take a look
Next
at the
time, Mario's not
Next,
out.
yeah,
quite
next
yet.
No.
episode. Let's see. This is what's tonight. Today's
Today's the
8th.
8th.
So 15th plus 7.
It's the 21st.
21st.
I think is the no
No, 22nd.
20.
I think
Be
it's
the
22nd.
Yeah.
So the 22nd. I don't know what comes out between now and then. I don't think anything necessarily.
Let's
big.
see. 2017 in video games. Brought to you video gaming. excuse
Maybe
me.
by then,
Such
all of us will have
great
played a decent
content.
amount of Stardew Valley, so we can talk about that.
Yeah,
some
that would be
more.
cool. Actually, review.
Hey, you
Stardew
know what?
Valley.
We're gonna have played a decent amount of by then.
We could talk about
Destiny
Iron
2.
Banner and the Prestige Raid.
Yep. Yeah. So I know. We've got.
Middle Earth Shadow of War coming
So Forza
out.
just came out. Hopefully you're gonna play some of that. Stardew
will.
Valley just came out on the Switch, which is awesome. We could probably check that out. Middle Earth Shadow of War is coming this Tuesday, but I don't.
I'm not getting that because I just bought the original game and
I'm
I
not
barely
getting that
played it.
because I don't want to reward their loot box microtransaction bullshit. Is kind of what. Also, I just don't. I don't care. I don't
The
really
Evil
wanna play
Within
it.
2 on the 13th is interesting. Gran Turismo Sport.
On the 17th, which also
South
has
Park.
VR
really?
support. Yeah. South Park: The Fractured Butthole is coming on the 17th as well. There's a game called Spelunker Party that I saw in Japan for Switch, and it's now coming to the U.S., so I'm probably going to check that out, but I think it's 4-player co-op, so we should probably do that.
Does it have anything with Spelunky or anything to do with it?
It's kind of like Spelunky. It's born out of a similar vein.
I think I may end up picking up Assassin's Creed towards the end of the month as well.
Yeah, that's coming out the same day
Super
as
Mario Odyssey. God, so many games, man. This
Yeah,
is
we've
gonna
got.
Be
So the 27th
Oh, man,
is
we're
gonna have
Assassin's
to
Creed,
do-
Super Mario, and Wolfenstein.
we're gonna have to do
Wolfenstein.
like top 10s this year.
I
Like,
think so.
Well, yeah, the first half of the year was just so good.
Also, Destiny 2 comes out on the 24th, so you're not buying
Oh,
Mario
shit.
anymore.
son of a bitch.
No, but anyway, by next time we'll
Age
figure
of
something
Empires
out.
Definitive Edition. I might get that. That comes out the 17th.
Yep. We'll figure something out. I know money's tight. Maybe we'll do something different or something like that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, thanks everybody for waiting.
Yeah, we apologize for the delayed
Yeah,
episode.
you guys probably moved on to other podcasts and nobody's going to hear
I
this.
hope not. That would be terrible.
That would suck.
But if
We
you
didn't
wanna,
have any feedback or anything? Yo,
Alan sent us an image of some really dope wiring on somebody's setup. It was like a TV, and it had all the fancy ass like wiring that looked like circuitry leading off to the consoles
Yeah,
and things on the side.
that's really
And
would be awesome.
He said something about like you're probably like jerking off to this right now or something like that. I don't remember what exactly the email was, but I was like, dude, totally. Like, wire porn.
Yep.
That's probably something totally
No,
different.
that's a there's a subreddit. I think it's called it might be called like cable porn or something like that. I forget what it is.
Cable porn, but it's
I'll
just
try and
pictures of people's like setups with their fancy cable
I
ties.
swear
and
to
stuff.
God.
I wouldn't
actually got
doubt
some
that at
cool
all.
cable sleeves for my setup.
Yeah.
They're like 18
Yeah,
inches
it's-
long and they zip up.
Oh yeah, you told me about those.
Yeah.
It's reddit.com/r/cable porn, and
Ooh.
it's people that are setting up like networking closets and stuff like that. And apparently like an early Soviet.
I'm not
nuke
going to
bomb.
deny that this is actually really interesting to see how
That
these
just
people
looks like
do
a
it.
thermal detonator.
Yeah, it does. That's for sure. Anyway,
But yeah, Alex, what's up next for the network?
Going to Texas is pretty much wrapped. We are going to do a season 2 wrap-up show since I went to Japan before we could do that.
Nice.
I'm trying to finish rewatching season 2 in the meantime, so that'll probably be out next week or the week after. At some point in October is pretty much the plan. And then also the folks over at Horror Movie Yearbook brought out their latest episode. It's episode 22, The Class of 1996. They're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, The Craft, and Scream, which may or may not be the first time they're talking about movies I've actually seen. On
Was
that
96
podcast,
the
but
same year as Event Horizon?
I think that was a little bit later, actually. But
I've seen 2 out of 3 of those movies. That's pretty rare for me.
so that's what's going on right now.
97.
97 was Event Horizon.
When they do
so
97, they better talk about Event Horizon. I have a really good story for them.
I bet
And
it would
I will
come
guest. I will guest host on that
Okay.
if they would
If-
love
if
to
they-
have me on. That being said, if you want to follow us on social media, it's got I have
How's
to.
your Sean Connery?
Social media.
If you want to follow us on social media, see all the places you can listen to or watch our show, please check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links.
That's better
As
than
always, we would appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. Twitch.
I'm not gonna lie, that was better than I expected, but also still terrible.
Rough, just like your mother likes it, Trebek.
I should have known you were doing Daryl Hammond's does.
Ah. I'll take the rapist for 100. It's the therapists, Mr. Connery.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, be sure to check us out online, MidwestGamers.com/links, and all the ways you can support us too at MidwestPodcastNetwork.com/support.
Send us money.
And
Buy
that's
us
it.
games.
If you have any suggestions of things we should talk about, please do send them to us. Feedback.
If you want to buy us a game to talk about
Yeah.
next week,
Taking donations for games.
Let
We'll talk
us,
about whatever you buy us. We will talk about it.
yes.
Anything you purchase for us,
But
give to us.
you need
we will.
you need to actually contact us. We just can't have people sending us Steam gifts or something.
Yeah.
Let us know, and like the first person, even if it's like
No, if
My Little Pony.
anybody send whatever you send us, we will talk about it. We'll
All right.
review it, whatever.
that's fair. It's not
But
like we're gonna.
contact us and let us know, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
totally.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll check you out next time. Peace.